Hi, I'm Elizabeth Gearhart from Fireside Directory. I'm here with Mark Kravietz from ALINE Wealth. Hi, Mark.
Hi, how you doing? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. I see that you have an impressive number of certifications and awards that you've won. So, what exactly do you do?
Well, thank you for asking that. I would say that if someone was ready to sell their business, transition their business, or if they're getting ready to retire, I'd be a great person to talk to and help them experience that journey with.
And why is that?
Well, I've helped over 100 owners, families, individuals get ready for and go into the next phase of their lives. And we've done that with very smart, careful management of their assets. In fact, we've never ever had a client run out of money.
Wow, that's awesome because you never know how long you're going to live.
True, very true.
So, what is your process? How do you do that?
Um, well, what we do is we do everything based on planning. So the first thing we do is we sit down with an individual, a couple, a family, and we listen. My mom always said, "Mark, you got two ears and one mouth. Use those two ears twice as much as you speak." So that's what we do is we listen, we understand what the person that we're sitting with, what their needs are, what their goals are, what their tolerance for risk is. Um, We'll do a lot of analysis on their business. If it's a business owner, we'll do analysis on the individual and their holdings. And we will find out what they're looking to do, what they're looking to achieve. And we've obviously had a very good track record in that we've helped all our clients achieve their goals to date.
Do you have a story you can tell us about one client without naming names?
Sure. That'll be fine. I'll give you a business owner situation. So we had a business owner some years ago that had a terrific business, was thinking about selling, not sure what the process was to doing that sale. I sat down with him. I sat down with his family, and we did a full financial plan for them. We took a look at what the results would be if they sold their business, if they did no planning, how much taxes they would have to pay, what would look like from an estate planning standpoint. So from there, we were able to analyze things and help them reduce their taxes in terms of when they sell, which they did wind up selling. We also had them sit with an estate attorney, and the estate attorney was able to move the assets over to the next generation on a tax reduced standpoint. And when it came to managing their assets, that's what they utilized our services for. We manage the assets and we do a fantastic job of managing the assets. In addition, I did a financial plan. My background, you mentioned before, I have some certifications. One of my certifications is a CFP. I'm a certified financial planner. So we did a financial plan. And in that financial plan, we looked at all the things that they wanted to, all their goals. We line item that. We took a look at what assets they're going to come in from the sale of the business and answer the question, do they have enough money to live comfortably for the rest of their lives? And then we looked at different multiples that they can sell the business at. And in each of the different scenarios, they can see how much money that they would get for their business. So that we were able to do a lot of planning around that, and they wound up getting a very good multiple for their business. And to this date, and this was many years ago, they're still retired, still doing very well, and in fact, they've gone into another business that they've created.
So you help people find their assets. Do people ever find assets they didn't know they had?
Yeah, I'll give you one interesting story, and this is a story from many years ago. I've been doing this for a long time. We had a couple in Manhattan, in New York City, and I came to the house. The husband passed away, and I came to their house, and she said, "I got this shoe box here. I think that there's things in there. I have no idea what they are." Went in, to the closet. It was all the way on the top. We took the shoebox down, and she had all these certificates, and she had some pretty significant monies in that. She had well over, she had actually a couple $1 million in certificates that she had in the closet. And this was certificates that was given to her by her father. And it was one stock in particular that had gone up quite significantly. So that was an interesting story about found money. Should only happen to everybody, right?
Wow, yeah, no kidding. So it sounds to me, listening to these stories, like you really enjoy helping people, business owners. So what gives you that passion?
Well, I would say that I've I've been helping individuals and business owners for many many years. I think what really gave me the passion to help business owners was a story about my dad. My dad came from another country. He was born in Poland. Uh, Came to Cuba, lived in Cuba for many many years, and then came to this country basically penniless, didn't have much money. Um, and he worked in Manhattan in the garment industry, and he was a runner. And then soon he moved up, and over a period of time, he started his own business, and he had a partner, and he started his own business. And they had, your typical small business, had about 15 people that worked there with him, and he did okay, did fairly well. And what happened with his business is unfortunately a similar story that happened to many many businesses, is that that whole industry went to China, and it almost, his business almost fell off the cliff in a very very short period of time. And there was no exit planners that were out there. There were no people that dealt with business owners that can help them with the exit of their company. And his business went out of business. And it was a very, very difficult time for this very proud man that came from another country, basically penniless. And it was a difficult time for our family. So that, pulled on the heartstrings for myself. And I made it a goal of mine that I'm going to help business owners get a much better outcome than my dad. So that's where my passion comes from.
Wow, so you really live it. That's awesome. I mean, I have to say I haven't met a lot of financial planners who do the exit planning like this, but every business owner is going to need it at some point. So,
And just on that point, every business owner will exit their business.
mhm.
It could be any which way. They can pass away at their desk. They can go to the next generation for their kids, or they can go to next generation with their employees. They can be bought out. There's all different kinds of various ways that a business owner will exit, but every single business owner will exit at some point. And again, you talked about my background and my certifications. I also have a certification called CEPA, a Certified Exit Planning Advisor. So I'm certified in helping business owners get ready for an exit.
Excellent. So back to managing money, what is your process and really what's your track record?
Well, first and foremost, we listen to our clients. We sit down. These days, it's more on Zoom until things get a little bit opened up in this country. But we listen. We listen to what our potential clients are looking for. What are their goals? What are they looking to achieve? We'll then collect data from them, and we'll analyze the data. I like to say I like to go into my laboratory and take the data and analyze it. And in almost every case, people have assets that they already have with a broker. So we're going to analyze those assets, and we're going to stress test the assets. And what I mean by stress testing the assets, whatever assets they have, we're going to take a look at if there is another major downturn in the market, what potentially could happen to their portfolio. And then from there, we'll create a formula to figure out what the best allocation is for their assets so that it will meet their their risk tolerance. We'll never violate anybody's risk tolerance. I've never violated anybody's risk tolerance. We're going to stay within their risk tolerance. So what we're looking to achieve is to get the best rate of return given the level of risk that someone's willing to take.
That's excellent because you need that money for retirement, but it needs to be there. So you can't afford to lose it.
Exactly.
So
That's
there are,
exactly.
yeah, there are many people out there who have a great ability to make money, but they're not confident in managing their own money. Maybe they were and they made a huge mistake and lost a bunch, but they're not confident for some reason. What would you say to them?
Yeah, that's a great point. In the last couple of major downturns that we had, so the 2008, which was the Great Recession. Then if you go back to 2000 to 2002, where we saw technology go up like crazy and then got hit pretty hard. We got a bunch of people that were similar to what you were describing, people that made a lot of money, managed it themselves, and then the portfolio just got annihilated. And I call those portfolios accident victims. So when we get those portfolios in, we analyze it, we put a tourniquet on the portfolio, we stop the bleeding of the portfolio, we find out what their true risk tolerance is, and then we'll recreate a portfolio so it is equal to whatever their risk tolerance is. And then we're going to try to give blood and we're going to try to pump life back into that portfolio, and we will then hopefully see the portfolio rise over a period of time. So it's during these bad downturns that people realize that they need help, that they need a professional. I think that Warren Buffett said it best: when the tide is low, you see who's swimming naked, right? So it's the same thing in the portfolios. When markets get hurt, that's when you realize that you need a professional. So I would say to you that whether you use myself as a professional or use other professionals, there's many great people in this industry, really go to a professional, have them analyze your current portfolio, have them stress test the portfolio, and make it so that it's equal to your risk tolerance so that you can have the portfolio come back and make yourself money over time.
Right, because it's not a matter of if another downturn is coming, it's just a matter of when and how are you positioned to weather that. And a normal person who hasn't really studied this can't possibly know that.
Right. That's very true. As an example, last year we had a we had a 10-year bull run. And what happens to a lot of people's portfolio is, let's just say that their portfolio is 60% stock, 40% bond. If they didn't rebalance and you see a huge run in the marketplace, that 60-40 portfolio could potentially be 80% stock and 20% bond. So could you imagine a person that has 80% stock and 20% bond, and then all of a sudden the pandemic hits and the market drops 37%? That person is in a complete panic and they're selling out of the portfolio at the exact wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I emphasize, and what we did for our clients is we stress tested everybody's portfolio and put the portfolio back to what the right allocation is, and they really benefited, especially when the pandemic hit and the markets dropped down 37% as it did this year.
Right, but it keeps bouncing around. Like, how do you handle that? It's up one day, down the next, up 1,000, down 500. I mean, it's craziness, right?
You know, the reality is, you're right. On a very short-term basis, the market is going to do its ebb and flow. It's going to go up and down. The reality is, over a longer period of time, the market doesn't have those kind of major fluctuations. It tends to go up and tends to go up. It's, if you think about it, think about a yo-yo, right? A yo-yo goes up and down, right? So on a short-term basis, you can look at it as yo-yo. You're standing there, yo-yo, and it goes up and down. But if you walk into an elevator and that elevator is going up, the market is like a yo-yo in an upward moving elevator. So it's going up and down, but the elevator is moving up. So it's going up and down in this upward trend. And if you have belief in America, if you have belief in the companies that make up America, I personally do. I always have, and I've been in this industry since the 80s. I believe that the markets will continue to move up. Will have its periods of volatility. That creates opportunity. We were in as a buyer this year in March when the markets went down. We were in there buying for our clients. So that you have look at it as an opportunity, not as a place where you want to jump out of your portfolio.
Yeah, that's great if you are aligned with somebody who knows how to do that, like you guys do. So when you talk about risk management, it's certainly a lot different for younger people versus old people. But do you ever get young people that want to take no risk at all? And then how do their portfolios do? Or what do you advise them?
That's a fabulous question, and the answer is yes. And the reason that they don't want to take that kind of risk is because they're not educated in terms of investments and in terms of the markets. So I'm always an educator. I taught a class called Financial Strategies for Successful Retirement. I probably taught 10,000 people over a period of time. Anytime that I have a client's child or a younger person, Generation X or whatever generation there are, millennials and so on, I take the time and I use that time to teach them and to show them over a period of time that you use the markets to create wealth for yourself. And it has to be over a long period of time. And I think that they appreciate it. So we've turned a lot of people that had just cash sitting on the sideline, making very little money for them. Understand that if you have cash and that cash is paying 0.5%,
Mhm.
it's going to take you 144 years to double your money.
Mm.
So if you're getting a 0.5%, it's going to take you more than your lifetime to double your money. Whereas approximately, if you get a 7% rate of return, you're going to double your money every 10 years. That's how you create wealth over a period of time for yourself.
Wow. And then it goes exponential because you have twice as much money to double the next 10 years and then twice as much. So, yeah, that really adds up. That's great advice. I remember in 2008, I took a little bit of money and just picked some stocks and did an online investing account and doubled it because, as you said, the market bounced back and it always goes up. And so we had a party. I took it out, we had a party. Is there anything else that people need to know about your business or how you handle money?
Well, I just thanks for the opportunity here to speak. Just a couple of things here. When it pertains to business owners, we have a yearly a business owner forum that's in October, where we have fantastic people that come out and talk to business owners about what they need to know before they exit. And also, I have a podcast, and the podcast is called Find Your Exit. You can get it anywhere that you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. It's called Find Your Exit. And in this podcast, what I do is I am interviewing business owners that have gone through an exit, and they talk about the trials and tribulations that they've gone through prior to the exit and what they're doing after the exit. In addition, I also will interview people that are help the business owners get ready for that exit as well. So it's really a great podcast, and I'd love your listeners to go on to Find Your Exit. I think that they'll get a lot out of that as well.
I think that's something I should listen to as well. Uh, one more question. What size businesses do you work with typically?
Well, we're really working with the typical middle market companies, so ranging from as low as $5 million in revenue to over $100 million in revenue.
So there's a lot of money to be made. if they invest it correctly.
Well, let's look at it this way. There's a book called The $10 Trillion Opportunity. There is 2 million businesses that will be exiting in the next 20 years. And that 2 million businesses equals $10 trillion. So there's $10 trillion that's going to be transitioning over the next couple of decades. So these people, they need help. Um, Exit Planning Institute is an institute that was created that uh, that oversees the SEPA designation, and they recognize that there's a lot of people out there that need this help. So myself as a SEPA, as a certified exit planning advisor, the other SEPAs that are out there, we're all out there to try to help these business owners get the best outcome. And believe me, I've seen some bad situations out there and people wait way too long. There were people last year that I was talking to that said, oh, I'll just wait. The business was prime, ready to sell. Oh, I'll just wait. I'll just wait. Now, today we have a pandemic, and those multiples have gone down significantly, and now they can't sell, and they might have to wait a whole business cycle before they sold. Same thing in 2008, 2009. People had to wait after that a whole business cycle, 3 to 5+ years before they were able to sell. So, do the analysis, get a professional, have them help, do the planning. That all helps. And if they need help, they can look me up, Mark Kravietz. I'm at ALINE Wealth, and it's alinewealth.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Mark. This was great.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.